Hi there, my name is Maxim Karpovich. I'm a 3D artist from Ukraine, and today I want to show you my approach to such effects as lighting things on fire in Houdini using built-in Pyro. So this effect consists of two parts. First part is, I called it fire main, but you can call it like big fire or something, yeah. And next part is second part is, I called it secondary. This is just a smaller flame. It's a little bit more faster, it's a little bit more dynamic, and that's it. Here's a quick play blast, and actually here's also particles, but this is up to you to add them or not. This all together, and yep. So to do that, all we need actually is two things. To do a nice pyro sim is source and dop sim. So, and a good source is actually 50% of a good sim. So we'll focus on source most of the time. And look, but before we do that, let's examine some things. Look, in the final piece, you see that on the frame 1 I already have a lot of fire, and it's bright, it's a lot. But if you think about it, if we will start our sim on the frame 1, there will be actually no fire, because the simulation needs time to reach that state. That's why we need pre-roll, which is just some amount of frames before the main timeline. But as you see, here's the problem: we don't have any frames in that range. So let's use blend shapes node, and let's use time shift and freeze it on frame 1. Yep. Let's add our original snake and just put it on 1, and here you have it. We have 20 frames of stationary snake, and then it starts moving. Yep. Okay, so let's add null and call it out snake geo. We'll maybe add this to our dop just to see our snake mesh, and also let's create VDBs from polygons just to quickly create collision for our sim. Let's go 0.03. Yep. And actually what I want to do next is to reshape SDF and actually erode a little bit, because look, our volume can be sometimes a little bit bigger than our actual mesh, and it will cause problems like we can have a little bit of that rim, of that edge, of that gap near the snake. So, and we will have like this line of nothingness between the snake and the fire, and this is not great. So we will just erode it, and fire maybe will cross the snake and go inside it, but it's okay. Okay, so let's copy this and call it snake collision. Okay, and now we can focus on our source. First up, let's create a rest attribute, because if you're talking about pyro sims, you're talking about noise, and if you want our noise to stick to the snake, we want a rest attribute. Otherwise our snake will just swim through the noise. Okay, next up we will scatter some points on that snake. Let's go with 10,000 for now. Let's turn off relax iterations, and look, first 20 frames everything is perfect, but as soon as our snake starts moving, we see that our points are jumping around. That's because our snake is just moving, and points are just regenerating every frame. So here's the old trick with attribute interpolate. All this node requires 2 attributes. These attributes can be we can get these attributes from our sketch node, and actually we need to time shift our points just to freeze them on let's go frame 1. Yep, and let's add our original snake, and yeah, here it is. Our points now stick to the snake. Okay, next thing, look, here I have a map. This is actually a roughness map for our snake, but I want to use it as a map, as a mask. So we can delete some white parts or black parts. Yep, and we will do that with regular node with a couple of lines. So let's create a variable called call, and this will store for us our texture, and texture function requires 2 things: texture, map, and UV coordinates. So let's use string parameter and call it map, and let's provide it with our UV coordinates. And let's quickly drop a visualizer just to see what we're doing. And yeah, here is yeah, something is showing, but this is actually empty. So let's change our map to image so we can choose something. Okay, well, I know that it's located near my file, so hip snake textures rough. Let's increase our point count to 50,000, and yeah, here you can see our rough map on snake. And then what we can do with that, we can just write a simple if statement saying that if call is bigger than threshold, then we will remove point from 0 and with by ptm. Yep, and everything vanished. And also look, it's saying to us that this is implicit cast from vector to float, and this is actually true because our variable call is a vector and this threshold is a string, is a float. So if you want to be a good boy, just drop x or y and that's it. But it will work even like this. So, but we will go there. So and now you see, yeah, we can delete some parts, and actually right now we're deleting white parts of the snake. So yeah, only black parts are remaining. I'll go 0.75. Yeah, now let's maybe increase our point count to 500,000. Yeah, now you can see it more clearly. Yep. And next up, let's add our noise textures to our snake. We can hide our visualizer. We don't need it. Okay. So and also I forgot to create an attribute. Let's create a float attribute called flame. Just assign it to 1. And why? Because it's just more visually understandable for me to create it here, just then to bind it in here. Actually, I could just use constant node, but again, this is just if someone else will open up my file, this will be more clearly to them that, oh, okay, here is an attribute and here is he binds this in, and probably he will bind out exact same flame. Yep. So also we need to bind in our rest attribute. This is vector rest, and then let's use turbulent noise. Let's use our alligator noise, I think, yeah, and let's multiply it by that flame and put it into CD. Yep, here it is. Maybe let's change frequency to 0.5, and actually we'll do another one. Just put it in here also in that multiply. We will go maybe 1.5. Yep, and maybe let's go with sparse convolution noise. Yeah, and what we need is a fit range, because for sparse convolution it's officially in the range from minus 0.7 to 0.7, but it's actually never that way. So let's hide this and let's look what our CD values is. This is from minus 0.3 basically, and to 0.15. So from minus 0.3 to 1.5, yeah, right? I guess it's right. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, yep. I don't really like how it's looking, so let's maybe change it up a little bit. Maybe let's add some roughness to it. Yeah. Okay, let's look at our alligator noise separately. Okay, it's okay. And our sparse convolution noise, it's maybe, let's go a little bit higher, maybe 8. Yeah, and then let's go 1.8 here, and okay, let's look. Yeah, it's much better, but look, here is a quick tip for you. You can use power to create for yourself some exponential values, because all this is linear and there's nothing linear in our world. So just drop power, put it at 2 or maybe 3 if you want. Yeah, and here you have some exponential values with some curve to them. So now we can bind out flame. We don't need CD. And so let's use our trail node to compute velocity and use point velocity to add some curl noise to it. Then we will rasterize it. Okay, so keep it coming, curl noise, let's look at it. Okay, so let's go with 0.6 of pulse duration, because actually fire is pretty fast, and it will, if it will be slow, it will look more like a smoke. Okay, swirl size, let's go 0.3, and let's add some green, and yep, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. So next up, let's rasterize it. Volume rasterize attributes. We will go with 0.25 and 0.035. We will rasterize our flame and our velocity. And here it is, our source. Yeah, now I will cache it out using file cache node. I will load from disk. This is simulation VDB. I don't know, and I don't need any versions. Cache source, and this will be our name for it. and I will just speed it up in post, so see ya. It's done, and now we can just drop another null, saying that this is our fire main source, and let's go into our job setup. So we could call it again fire source, and let's jump in. Oh no, actually let's maybe increase a little bit our cache memory size, so we'll have some more frames to cache. And yep, here it is. Now we will use our Pyro Solver sparse and smoke object sparse and volume source. So we will use our first context. We will initialize smoke, but we will use flame, and same exact thing here, and we will actually use flame for the temperature also. Enlarge fields, and yep, here it is. Now we will play it, and it will be, we will see nothing because we looking at the density. We will use multi-field, we will use flame for the density, and for the diffuse field we will use temperature and black to orange, maybe density, twice as density, maybe let's go emission, again flame, again temperature, and let's look at it. Yep, it's working, but it's definitely too strong. Yep, it's definitely too strong. So first of all, let's drop our reference temperature and ambient temperature, because this is actually like an environment temperature, and it works as a multiplier for our temperature fields. So let's just go like 7,800. Maybe let's set our cooling rate a little bit higher. Yep, and also let's go into here, and we will change our advection scheme, because I tested, and the default one, it produces like this stringy fire, like it's so linear, so stringy. So we will use BFECC and clamp. It produces more blowy, more distinguished smoke and fire. Yep. So now maybe let's drop our temperature to something reasonable, like 0.2. Yep, it's definitely better. And you see that our snake starts to move, and actually it's hard to see what's going on with our flame at that point. So let's just drop time shift for now, temporarily, just to work on our flames on a stationary snake. Also, let's add our collision. We will mute it. Okay, this is static object. This will be our snake, and we will use geo, and we will use our volume sample as a collision. Yep, but we will maybe disable this for now and disable collision. Yep, so we have this stationary snake, and also our velocities are not updating, so this is like one value all the time, but then we will unfreeze it, yeah, and this will be nice. This will be even better. So let's work on our flames. First of all, let's add merge node to our forces and name it exact same way. Forces, yep. And I like to create a 3-level multi-solvers like gas turbulence. It will be big, then it will be medium or mid and small. So for big, let's use such values as 0.5. I just used these values and they worked for me. So 2.5 for swirl size, because this is big turbulence. Let's add some grain and turbulence, and actually let's reduce a little bit our pulse length, because as I previously told you, fire is actually fast. So then let's create our mid turbulence. This will be 0.6. It will be a little bit smaller, 1.65. Let's go with pulse length of 0.35. Maybe let's drop after our turbulence, and let's add one more. This will be our small turbulence, and small turbulence will be 1.15, then 1.25, and let's go even lower on the pulse length, and maybe let's return our turbulence to 3. Okay, what's next? Okay, let's see what we got. This turbulence will move our fire a little bit, yeah, but we need something more. This is flame lifespan, and in original Pyro Solver we had this combustion and flame height parameter. This is basically the same stuff. Lifespan and flame height, this is the same stuff. Yep. So let's go 0.9. This will make our flames shorter, as you see. Yep. So that's okay. Let's also change it to flame, because we don't have any density actually. So let's use flame, and now it's working. Yeah, now you can see it. Now it's working. Okay, now let's add a couple of more nodes, like vertex confinement nodes. This will make our vertices more vertices more pronounced. So also, okay, we will use 1. Then vertex boost, we don't need any visualization. We will use our, again, not density but flame, and we will go with swirl size of 0.25. No, actually 3.5. Yep. And one more node. This is really important node, is gas dissipate, and there's a reason why I don't use this gas dissipation, because in this separate node there's a parameter called subtraction rate, and this will just cut off parts of our fire or smoke, and this will really look like fire, because it will produce these pieces of fire that will let's see, that will be separate from the main body of the fire, and it will just cut off it immediately. It won't be just fading out like a regular smoke. So we will use evaporation rate of 0.2 and subtraction rate of 0.65 65, yeah. So let's see what we got. It's much better, I think. Yeah, you see, yeah, here we have these pieces that are flying off from the main body of the flames, but now it actually looks like a little bit like smoke with these blowy shapes. Maybe we will make something with it. Let's see what we can make. Okay, I decided to animate it, to keyframe it, so let's animate our flame and temperature fields. It will be 0 at -20 at the start of the pre-roll, and it will be 1 at the start of the main timeline, and 0.2, maybe 0.15 here. Yep, so let's look at it. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, it's better, I think. Okay, let's also add our ground plane, so it's not, so it's staying on top. Let's make it invisible, and yeah, okay, maybe it's time to disable our time shift and enable our collision, and yeah, I will now cache out and I will show it to you. So here's a playblast of that sim that we did. Yep, I refined it a little bit. Yep, and it's definitely not perfect at all because it's low res, it's like only a couple of sub-steps, and but it's a great starting point actually, because if you will reach it, then you can spend as many time as you want on refining it and making it right. So yeah, here it is, and now we will go on to the second layer. Yeah, but first I will show you what I changed. First of all, I keyframed the flame value like this. It goes from 0.5 to 1, then to 2, because at this point Snake is moving, and we need a little bit more emission, then back to 1, and in the end again to 2 because it's moving again. So, and also I increased a little bit the subtraction rate and evaporation rate, but yeah, that's it. So basically what we need to do now to make our second layer is basically to copy all this part. Yep, and to change some things, and basically we're done. Yeah, so first of all, let's change the sign to the less than, so we have the opposite of that, but let's also maybe go 0.45. Yeah, so we have the opposite side of it. Next maybe we'll change our pulse duration, maybe swirl size. Yep, and yeah, so then we will again cache out as a secondary source. Yep, secondary source, and again I will speed it up, and yeah, see you soon. It's done. Yep, so now we can jump into DOPS, and yep, so what we can change our flames lifespan. Let's go 0.3. Yeah, also let's drop this to 1. Also let's go and maybe change the pulse length again. We will drop this but by 0.05. This, yep, and yeah, maybe swirl size also by the same amount. Yeah, let's go. Yep, and maybe here. Yeah, let's go like this. I guess the speed, I think it's maybe we will increase the pressure rate. And yeah, let's look at it. Maybe we'll hide our snake. Yeah, let's increase a little bit our voxel size to make it a little bit faster. Yeah, it looks like something small, but okay. Yeah, it's okay. Look, I will do another play blast and yeah, I will show it to you. So here is our second play blast of that smaller fire. Again, not perfect at all, but if you keep working on it, you will find those magical numbers that will make it look gorgeous. And yeah, if you will just combine it all together, like big fire with small, you will get something like this. Yeah, so basically we're done. Yeah, this is it. All you have to do is just dump import fields from DOP network. Just search for smoke object and smoke flame, not density. We don't want rest, we don't want city, and we want temperature, because okay, let's then go Pyro post process. Here we will convert to VDB all our volumes because they are Houdini volumes. Then we will combine them to convert to 16-bit floats and resample velocity in half. Yeah, and so yeah, and next thing you can just cache it out and that's it. Yeah, so let me show you the rest of the scene if you're curious. So the rest of the thing is basically the camera and the chop network to add some noise to that. Then I divided my snake into couple of parts. Basically, here's the snake, here's the snake's eyes, yep, here's the teeth, yeah, and tongue. This is just for shading purposes. Also, here's the props, just floor and statue and this building and yep, character moving and stuff. Yeah, then there's a smoke scene for the character, simple smoke scene, and so here's particles also for that magic stuff. Then let me just do this. Also here's the Solaris, and yeah, this is the setup, pretty easy. So here's just snake, then I pair it with the rest of the scene. Yeah, it looks bad, I know, but that's it. Yeah, then I just add materials and shaders to it. This is just all the effects, all the particles and smoke and fire, and then it's a camera with all this stuff, and here is just part when I divided it into separate layers. Like here is snake fire. I can show you actually how it looks. So here it is. It takes only like 7 seconds to render this out, as well as I'm recording it now, so without it it's maybe 5-4. Here's a fire. Yeah, so that's it. It's rendering really fast. It's a good idea to split it out into separate layers if you're rendering with your GPU. I rendered this out with the Karma XPU, so yeah, this is a good idea. And yeah, the last thing I want to show you is the comp, which is pretty simple also. Yeah, so I will see you there. Here's the comp, and it's also very simple. So I used Fusion, and let's look. So here's just post-processing. Let's disable it, and yeah, this actually is like a raw render with actually like a glow and some color correction, but it's almost nothing. Yeah, so it's basically it. Some sharpen, some contrast, some glow. Also, this is a part when I add in my LUTs, and here is a couple of blurs just to make it more like realistic. Yeah, I saw it in one tutorial of the Blender Guru. Yeah, and here's the final part of the chromatic aberrations, vignette, lens distortion, and film grain. Yeah, so if we will zoom in, this is without, and this is with all the comp. It's subtle, but yeah, I think it will be good example on this part of this image. So this is with and without. Yeah, it's definitely better. Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, I think Damien will leave my Instagram in the description. Yeah, and that's basically it. You can ask me any questions there and I will answer it for you. Yeah, also if you have some couple of spare dollars, mind helping my country, because you know, a couple of your dollars can save a lot of lives actually. Yeah, so have a nice day and see you.